Hello, Wanderers. Welcome back to our Crusader Kings 3 roleplay series following Jon Targaryen. And as many of you will know, the Crusader Kings 3 Game of Thrones mod has been updated for version 1.9, the Tours and Tournaments DLC. The current playthrough that this campaign takes place on is for the previous version, 1.8.2, and thus we do not have access to many of the features that are in the new DLC. Many of those features are very conducive towards the Game of Thrones experience with the tournaments and the hunts and all those different things that add a lot of more interesting things to happen during peace times. And so I believe that this may be our last episode in this particular campaign. Unfortunately, I was having a lot of fun with it, and I really want to see kind of where it goes, but you know, we do want to kind of keep update with the mods. That's the thing that happens when you're playing these modded series, is that the mods will go out of date and get updated with different versions of the game. That's just something that we have to be aware of. I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones, so I'm going to probably keep playing the mod in its various iterations, but sometimes we may have our series cut a little bit short. But I do want to give you that satisfying conclusion, or at least a conclusion, to the story that we've been developing here with Jon Targaryen. And so we're going to try to do that. And I think that we'll play out this episode, maybe do some time skips, things like that, in order to just get a sense of the life of this character. And perhaps we can get to a point where we can imagine what the world would look like if it were to continue on in a much longer series, but for now we are going to play as is. So what happened in the last episode? Well, the big thing was that we were put onto our Liege's Council as the hand of the king. Obviously, despite the kind of tension we've had with our brother, King Aegon VI, in that time since we were kicked off of the council, after the time of the War of the Three Dragons, we have obviously accepted the call to come to King's Landing and aid our brother. And I believe he has called for our aid because of this. The Reach. King Loras of the Reach. You'll remember, King Loras was put into place by House Hightower, I believe it was. They essentially put him into this position, and during all of those civil wars facing the kingdom, they declared themselves independent. Well, it seems as though our brother King Aegon has something to say about that, and he has declared a war of vassalization against the Reach, and that is obviously why he has called us in here to the Red Keep, to King's Landing, in order to marshal up the war efforts against the Reach. They're a powerful foe, but we might be able to take them. I mean, we probably will. We have 90,000 troops versus their, say, 40,000, but our troops are going to be kind of spread out, and we'll see how this all plays out. But we are going to get time running here. Let's see. What does this Lady House Burley? Okay, so Hill Clansman. She wants an audience with us. Very well. Lady Josera is shown into my great hall. Waste no time before walking up to my throne and bowing deeply. Thank you for seeing me, my liege. I come to you today with an urgent request. Lord Brandon has been waging war upon me, your good, loyal subjects in the lordship of Carvestone. Surely this infighting only weakens us all and should be stopped in its tracks. I see your point. Very well. I will force an end to your wars. Indeed, we shall force an end to the wars. That is kind of the obvious decision for our character to make in this position. And I think that we are attempting to end war wherever we can while we have to deal with this much greater war in the south. So I'm curious. Yeah, so here the king has us leading one of his armies, a massive army here. So yeah, are we the leader of it? I suspect we probably are, or at the very least, we are within the army here. No commander yet, but we'll see who he puts in charge. Either way, we might get into some fights. I'm hoping that we'll get into some good duels. Maybe we'll go up against, Loras himself. In this timeline, Loras isn't quite the fighter that he was in previous timelines, but we will see how this all plays out. There's the Reach's army. Okay, so they're heading in over to the Westerlands to lay some sieges. Looks like it's gonna be, oh wow, look at this, just massive forces sieging our way through the Reach, probably trying to reach all the way down to Highgarden itself. We'll see if we actually do get involved in any battles here with the Reach army. I'm certainly hoping that we will, but it is... Right now, it's looking like a war of sieges. Well, that's all playing out. We do want to take a look at our son here. Just 1 year old, Lord Eddard of the North, Werewood of the Seven, Westerosi Valyrian. We're going to educate this child ourselves. Obviously, he's too young for that, just yet. But we're going to end up raising him ourselves. Even though we're currently in King's Landing, I believe we've probably... we probably left our son up with our wife up in Winterfell, but we're just setting this up so that once he comes of age, we will bring him to be our squire and raise him ourselves. We do need a new counselor. Our friend, Ethan Glover. Ethan Glover has passed away. The good lord of House Glover there. That is rather sad. Who shall we put in charge as our steward? Let's see. Lord Rickard of the Rills. Lord Harrion of Carld. You know what? I think Lord Rickard of the Rills seems like a good option there. Seems relatively trustworthy as well. House Riswell is a powerful house in the north, so we will honor them with that position. Oh, the armies are on the move, it looks like, potentially. Here's ours, at least. Oh, we've gained the trait Ill. Lord Paramount or Peasant, high or low, it does not matter. In the end, we are all mortals. I was reminded of this as I woke, coughing in the early morning hours, a dull ache pounding through my head and throat. You seem to be under the weather, my lord. I know a fair number of suitable necessaries. Remedies, I should say. Do no more than what is necessary. Let's see. When Jafar enters my chambers, he was followed by an air most foul. The stench's origin was a jar in his hands. A mixture of cow's dung and herbs for your poultice, my lord. When Jafar proceeded to smear it on my chest, I almost retched. In the end, the poultice turned out to be exactly what I needed. For now, the worst of my symptoms are alleviated, and the world seems a little brighter. So we're still ill, but we are presumably going to be fine for now. Lord Benton is plotting to kill my maester here. Lord Benton, you worthless fiend. Why would you dare do that? Oh, okay, now we've got the Reach coming in. Here they go. All right, some fights going on here. Where are we? We're sieging up here, so we're not going to be involved in this battle, but curious to see how it will play out. Oh, looks kind of even, actually. Tough to say who's gonna win here. I think the Reach looks like the Reach has just a slight advantage there. So the Reach is gonna win the first battle of this war. Well done on them. Yeah, so that was actually a really even fight. I'd love to see the details of this, but sadly we cannot. That'd be a nice little feature if you could see the details of battles that are not necessarily your own, but are within your realm. So there we go. They've sent those forces running here. I wonder who is commanding those armies there. Either way, the sieges are proceeding as planned, so we are leading these armies, and although we are not the master at arms, that is... Oh, who is that? Just a lowborn man, Sir Michael. Sir Michael is the master at arms. I imagine that we're probably the ones who are directing the war effort here, so that loss was on us, but we will have to hope that we can continue to win this war. I remember the day when my first child, Eddard, a beautiful boy, was born, my amicable son. Memories like these bring me comfort. No matter what happens, I know that my family is there for me and House Targaryen stands strong. A song of ice and fire. I whisper under my breath. We'll treasure this thought. Let us see. Yeah, we could lose some stress, or we could... No, I think we'll just take this. We'll treasure the thought of our dear son. So we force our armies, we gather them back up together in order to kind of protect ourselves from another advance of the Reach's army here. Yeah, let's 20,000 men. Is that all they got? They've got another 10. Oh, no, here they are. Okay, so they do have all their army there. Oh, are they coming in for us? No, looks like they're going to try to siege down some of those areas. Lord Porther has approached me, claiming he has discovered who's behind the murder of my acquaintance, Rosalie. He has offered to provide me with everything he knows, including names and evidence, in exchange for the details of another secret I know. I don't think we have... Yeah, I don't think we deal with this kind of politics. We're not the type to, like, trade secrets for rumors and things like that. That's for certain. So we're not going to engage in battle. I think we are kind of holding off just due to the fact that we lost that first one. But our forces are kind of moving and preparing themselves. So we're playing it cautiously at the moment. We do have the advantage of numbers over the Reach, and I think that will give us the overall advantage in the war here. But we'll see if we do decide to engage them in a bigger fight. That is up to the AI to determine. Obviously, we have a ton of different commanders here, so even though overall we may be in charge of the war effort, there's a lot of different commanders coming in here. You know, the Riverlands army, the Westerlands army, they're all being commanded by commanders from those lands. It's not necessarily one cohesive unit. If you've read the Game of Thrones books, or the Song of Ice and Fire books, you'll recognize that, you know, even in those wars, it was always the kind of the lords of the different kingdoms who were leading those armies or having their men lead those armies. It wasn't just like one cohesive army all the time, necessarily. So I think that's the case here. In our latest correspondence, my vassal Lord Roose made a mention in passing about the administration of his realm, as if the subject would interest me. These letters are supposed to be strictly diplomatic in their nature, but of course they sometimes dip into more personal topics. I would appreciate if we kept it to relevant topics. Indeed, we don't have time for personal matters here. We're going to speed up time just a little bit here so we can kind of keep things going. We seem to be feeling a little bit better, which is good. I would really like, come on, just go in, go for them. We can take them. Now, looks like we're going for this sieging kind of, yeah, just the massive army just moving and sieging, moving and sieging. I'd love, we could easily just crush them in one big fight, but it doesn't seem like the AI is keen to engage them like that. We'll see if that provides an opportunity for the Reach to, like, you know, maybe take this small army here, or, you know, well, there's a lot of different options. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. Now the battle gets engaged. So 30,000 versus our, yeah, we outnumber them. We do have some more forces coming in. We're still continuing with the sieges as well. So will we get into a duel here? Good question. I'd like to, let's see, envelopment. Yeah, let's go with that. Will we manage to get into a duel? I'm sure we must be. Yeah, we are leading this army here. So we are finally engaging with the forces of the Reach, and looks like their army is going to be crushed here, as we have crushed many of those who would go up against our brother King Aegon VI before. So there we go, slamming into their army, easily defeating them. After the battle in Hennery, one of my attendants presents me a list of soldiers who performed exceedingly well. Master Magon of Gargoyle's Hook name stands out to me in particular. My attendant recommends that I knight him in a hasty battlefield ceremony. Indeed, we shall. There we go. He is now a good knight. He fought well. So he deserves that honor. That puts us up to 60% here in this war. I don't know if the Reach will have much chance of holding on after this. Their forces pretty battered, and they don't really have a lot of options left. Oh, looks like our son is becoming charming, just like other children his age. My son and heir Eddard sometimes lies and tests boundaries. However, he often avoids suspicion with his sweet demeanor, and people always forgive him when he does get caught. I wonder just how much he gets away with. So he's got a little bit of a trickster side to him. Our son does. We'll see what kind of man he turns out to be. Oh, and here we go. Another decisive battle here. The Reach is trying to do their best to fight us off in one epic battle, but the forces of the 7 kingdoms or the 6 kingdoms or however many kingdoms it is at the moment is more than enough to defeat them in this battle here. Unfortunately, we didn't get into any duels. Oh, did we just... Yeah, we crushed their army there. They still got a few men left, but once the sieges are done, then we will be done with this war, and the Reach will be incorporated once again into the kingdom. One thing that I would like to kind of point out of particular note is that we are the hand of the king, but look at the council here. We've got Queen Solange, so our enemy, the one who we broke off our betrothal with. So obviously she will not be looking too kindly upon us. We have Edmure Tully, who took the Riverlands back from House Derry and is now ruling the Riverlands once again. Then we've got Lord Paramount Tyrion. This is an awesome little bit of council here that we've got. Tyrion, of course, is our master of coin. Can't imagine anyone more fitting. And interestingly enough here, Lord Paramount Daeron of the Stormlands, the son of Viserys Targaryen, is now our master at arms. He's not good at it at all, but he is the master at arms. His older brother, Lord Vagon, is currently one of the Black Brothers. Arbitrary, cynical, chaste. He would have probably caused some trouble if we had let him retain his position in the Stormlands. We've got Lord Merrick here, House Celtigar. Pretty good house there. I find them pretty interesting. Lord Paramount Gerald of the Vale, so another member of the council. Lord Grafton. Yeah, that is pretty tough that we've got a few particular enemies on this council, and then of course the High Septim himself, the Meek One. So pretty interesting council that our good King Aegon has going on here. We've got a lot of enemies in King's Landing, and I wouldn't be surprised if we potentially have some assassins that wouldn't mind getting the better of us, you know? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Queen Solange, she's got a Cersei Lannister kind of style to her. I think you could probably agree. Callous, zealous, gluttonous, maybe not exactly like Cersei, and she is content, but yeah, that callous trait. I mean, any queen with that trait could be trouble. And then her brother, of course, Lord Paramount Gerald, is, authoritative and gluttonous, arrogant, generous. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them had it out for us. Guilt and shame have been plaguing me of late. My sins, my flaws, my failings. These dark thoughts distract me from my responsibilities and keep me awake at night. Must be strong and resist these impulses. We're going to take this stress break here. Mental break, estranged authority. Of late, my courtiers seem to avoid me at all costs. I hear whispers that my bravery is mistaken for bloodlust, but that just means that I rule with a firm hand. It doesn't mean that I'm a monster. Does it? Damnable ingrates? We are stubborn. Okay, maybe Arthur will support me. Will we go to our dear friend Arthur? I mean, you know what? Of anybody in the world who we could confide in, I think it would be Arthur Dane, the man who we were a squire to when we were young. We'll go to him and we'll try to seek comfort in the solace of our friend here. Another battle engaged. Looks like we are not fighting in this one, but Our forces will certainly get the better of the Reach here. We just need to deal with their army once more here. And there we go. Yeah, so we're going to just siege down their lands. There's so much of the Reach to siege down, but I'm pretty sure that they are pretty close to surrender. What happened here? Loras Tyrell died of his wounds. Ah, so he fought in that battle and then died of his wounds, severely injured. So the King of the Reach died, and now his daughter, Queen Giona, is the new Queen of the Reach. I suspect that the Reach won't really last too much longer in this position. With the death of Loras Tyrell, I don't see them as having quite as much urge to continue fighting as they might have had before, so yeah, I don't imagine that'll last long. We do need a new admiral because, oh, looks like Lord Mern of White Harbor was slain by Gendel Harrowclaw in a duel. Okay. So we need a new admiral. Who would be fitting? I'd like to pick somebody who actually would probably kind of make sense. Flint's Finger or maybe Harrion of Carhold. Carhold, I believe, is on the coast. So yeah, we can put Lord Harrion in charge. There we go. So we got a Karstark on the council. I am quite fine with that. The sieges continue. And once again, we crush the Reach's army. They're desperately fighting, it seems, to maybe not to retain their independence, but to get themselves a good deal. I think House Tyrell is just trying to like fight off the forces of the Iron Throne to the point where maybe they can have some bargaining chip, but I don't think we're allowing them that opportunity. We go in and crush their forces. Yeah, they're desperate here. They are very desperate. They must have like a... Oh, okay. Here we go. Here we go. A little fight. I was going to say they must have a very brave person in control of their armies right now. Desperate. Maybe desperate would be the better word, but... Here we go. Lord Parman of Red Front. Oh, he's a good fighter. This guy's a good fighter. We got House Crane. Does he wield a Valyrian sword? No, but he's got a Florin sword. And a dagger. All right, Lord Parman's dagger. Let's see. I mean, we're quite a bit of a better warrior, but this is a battle to potentially a battle to the death. For a few brief moments, Lord Parman and I pace in lazy half circles, each watching for an opening. I heft ice, ready to defend myself, while he hefts his dagger in his offhand and no doubt his sword in the other. This fight may be only till first blood. I don't think it'll be just till first blood. With a sudden twitch, our bout begins. I'm the fastest blade in the north. In battle, I'm an artist. Every strike is a brushstroke. Every fallen foe or gout of blood, a splash of paint. Let us go for him once more. To the floor with you. Spotting a moment of opportunity, I deliver a fierce kick right at Lord Parman's shin, nearly hobbling him. He pulls back from my every blow, letting me attack without getting another solid hit in. It's not long before I can feel myself beginning to tire. My stance is good, but his is formidable. I'll show you how I heft a sword. My sword flows around him like water, each strike chaining fluidly into the next. A series of perfectly timed attacks. Lord Parman retaliates with a smooth, flowing series of quick slashes and powerful cleaves, each strike forcing me back a little more. My form is excellent, with little chance for mistake, and his is still formidable. Let's see how you do without that dagger. There we go, we'll disarm him. Spotting the perfect opportunity, I bring my sword down in a powerful cleave that wrenches the dagger from his grasp. That went surprisingly smoothly, all things told. Parman and I are just left awkwardly staring at each other, he unsure whether to bolt after the weapon or surrender, me unprepared for such a perfect execution. Speaking of, I put paid to any thought of Parman may have had of continuing the fight with a raised eyebrow and a heft of my sword. The yield is embarrassed, but speedy. We will obviously put Lord Parman in chains here. There we go. We've defeated Lord Parman of Red Front and the Reachman army once more. This war is just about wrapped up. He wishes freedom, but we can't give you freedom while you are still our enemy in this war. We may give you freedom once it is done. So they're going to try to siege down a little bit, but I've been hosting your Chancellor, Lady Lysa, and she has helped me truly see the splendor of the realm under your rule. I am nothing but honored to serve as your vassal, Lady Karstark. I am blessed to have such grateful servants. Thank you, Lady Karstark. Thank you indeed. Schemer discovered. My spymaster has come to me with grave news. It is my Castellan, Lord Martin, that is plotting against my septon. Stephen, vile fiend, Lord Martin Castell. Why is he plotting against my septon? It's a good question. In any case, I would be delighted if your son and heir Eddard could visit my court in Sunbreak Forge to meet his peers. Who are you? Oh wow, down in Dorne? Would we send our son all the way down to Dorne to, I mean, could be interesting. He's 4 years old. That's a long way to go, though. I think we must decline. It's just too far to send our son during the middle of a war. He'd have to, like, travel by ship. It's just, that seems dangerous. I don't think we would care too much for that idea here. Oh, they have no troops reach. You can't do anything. Why will you not surrender? A madman must lead their armies. Surely nothing but a madman would continue to fight under these circumstances. The sieges continue, and the reach is surely all but done in this war here. Our counselor, Lord Rickard of the Rills, has died, so we need a new steward. We shall put Lady Morn of the Neck. How are you in the Lordship of the Neck? How's Wool? Cranagman. Pretty sure House Wool is normally a Hill Clansman house, so that's kind of weird, but you know, I think we're going to put Lady Winifred of White Harbor because House Manderley is an important house in the north. And so it appears that it is done. The Reach has surrendered. Will our king allow Lady Paramount Giona to retain her position? It seems as though she might. King Loras is dead, but Lady Giona didn't really have much choice over the matter of whether the Reach would go to war or not. So perhaps our king shall show her mercy and show the Reach mercy. We shall see. Lady Gwyn has come to pay homage to us. I would like to look at one thing. I'm very curious. Aegon Blackfire still here in prison. So our brother never did kill Aegon. Kind of curious to see, will he ever break out of prison and cause more trouble? Maybe. That could be an interesting thing in the future. We shall see. Found a holy order. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right. I mean, province of Whitegate. Yeah, let's see. Where could we found let's see. You know, at Coldbrand, you know, I think that seems fine. We're going to found a holy order here. Let's see. The Werewood Company of the Seven. All right. Well, let's take a look at our new holy order. So this is essentially a group of knights who are worshippers of both the Seven and the old gods. Probably a mixture of people from our court. Looks like they're mostly Westerosi Valyrian because we are as well. Probably trusted knights that we brought from the south and have now taken oaths to swear to defend the north from all those who would come against it, like, you know, the wildlings or people of that nature. I think that would be useful to have in case the wildlings do develop a force that could potentially go up against the wall. I think in celebration of the victory that we had there, we're going to hold a tournament, a grand tourney in Winterfell. I don't know if Winterfell's ever hosted a grand tourney because in the north they do not really have many knights, but I think that because we are a knight and we were raised in the south, it would make sense for us to host this tourney. And the lords and knights of the southern realms can travel to Winterfell, can see the north as it is meant to be seen, and we will have a very interesting little event here. The hustle and bustle is palpable among the traveling merchant stalls. The temporary shacks are stacked to the rafters and contain all manner of knickknacks. My wife and I walk by one of the merchants peddling jewelry. She hesitates slightly and leans in for a closer look. Perhaps one of these would brighten the day for my precious love. That is an extreme amount of money. Let us see. She is, she is our best friend, our soulmate. Would we go into that far in debt for this? I mean, we make a lot of money. I think we might pay to please our wife in such a way. The lords and champions of the realm have arrived, ready to test their mettle in the lists. 100 shields hang on 100 pavilions. The heraldry of houses great and small on proud display. Any warrior with a lance and a horse may enter, but only the most skilled will advance to the later jousts. We'll see who makes it to the later jousts if we have an interesting character who becomes our tourney champion. But my dearest Jon, it's so good to see you. I watch you as you dutifully rule our realm and would like to assist in any way that I can. She looks over at her shoulder. I may have, well, let's not dwell on what I did in the matter, but what I will say is that a mutual acquaintance owes me a favor. A silent breeze moves through her hair, and I can't help but gaze at her exquisite features, attempting to etch them into my mind. She tilts her head and looks at me expectantly. How did you... Never mind, please enlighten me. I am more interested in you, my spring blossom. Indeed, here we go. We can get our wife to become our lover. Indeed, we are. Now that peace has come to the realm, perhaps we can finally find love and, that spark of romance in our own household. Obviously, we are very close with our wife, and we've gotten along ever since we were quite young. But now to have her as our lover and our best friend, I think that seems quite good and quite good indeed. Here we have our young son. Oh, he's growing up. Needs a haircut though. I think we can give him a slightly better haircut than whatever he's got going on here. Somebody struggled to cut our child's hair properly, so let's give him a good northern haircut. Like, let's see here. Yeah, tie your hair back. That seems fine. Lord Paramount, Jon, we have had our differences in the past, but don't you agree it is time to let bygones be bygones? I don't even know who this woman is. House of Laygood. She is our rival, but yes, we shall stop being rivals. We are going to try to find peace in the realm here in this time. We have Lady Lietta, who is offering us generous gifts. That's good. That's going to help pay for our wife's generous gift that we gave her. As Balerion trudges out of the stable, dragging her legs and hanging her head, there can be no doubt the mare is sick. The stable master assures me that there is a cure to be found for what ails her, but it comes at a hefty price. Oh my gosh, we don't have the money for this. We can't keep spending all this money, but yeah, we're gonna have to hope that our horse pulls through, but unfortunately, she does not. Balerion has done. The preliminary rounds have ended, and many brave competitors are left licking their wounds and nursing their bruised pride. Those who remain in contention ready themselves for the final round. Fortune favors the bold. Let's see who it is who is going to win our tournament. Ice skaters. Today is a chilly but otherwise nice day. I've taken a few hours to myself to walk around some of the smaller settlements near my keep, taking in nature and simply enjoying the nice day. As I'm walking, I come upon a frozen pond to see some of the small folk wondrously skating on the ice. Their movements are all over the place, many fall, but some are gliding beautifully. I don't know if we'll join them, but I think I'll sit down and watch them for a little while. We're no longer as overwhelmed by stress. Good to know. Ah, so our king did decide to execute Aegon Blackfire. I mean, fair enough. That seems to be a wise move. I don't know why he even kept him in prison as long as he did, but that seems to be the best option, I think, in that regard. Oh, Lord Damien. Yeah, all right. I like Damien Vickery. Lord Damien and Lord Sebastian enter the lists and ready themselves for the next tilt. Let's hope that it's Lord Damien. I've got a bit of a favor for him, but Lord Sebastian wins House Illyrion. So, Damon, you haven't had much luck in your tourney attempts, but it was a good try anyways. Who do we have here? Lord Damon of House Dorant and Lord Mark of Mullendor. May the better warrior win. Lord Damon triumphs. House Dorant is continuing on. And so it comes down to House Illyrion versus Lord Damon Sand of Seven Dunes. May the better warrior win. From my seat of high honor, I watch Lord Damon triumph over Lord Sebaston. The victor shall advance to the next round. Indeed. The final joust is contested and the stands erupt in raucous cheers at its conclusion, with Lord Damon emerging the victor. My tourney has been a glorious affair, and while Lord Damon's name will doubtless echo in the minds of the small folk and noble alike, my name too will perhaps linger in their memory. Truly a tournament for the ages. So there we go. The grand tourney of Winterfell. And so peace comes to the realm and hopefully will for some time indeed. And so here you can see the family of Jon Targaryen here in the halls of Winterfell with our good wife and our dear son here beside us. This has been an interesting story we've seen for this version of Jon. He has been not only a great warrior, but a great commander, fighting in many wars, many civil wars, where he essentially protected the throne of his brother, King Aegon VI. If not for Jon, I suspect that King Aegon would not be ruling now. And indeed, we have proven ourselves as one of the Iron Throne's most loyal subjects, and I suspect that that will continue on through Lord Jon's lifetime. Unfortunately, we will not see the end of that lifetime, but as I said in the beginning, this will not be the end of the Game of Thrones mod. We will be playing the updated version, which I think will have plenty of interesting things to do to break up the monotony of these times of peace. And thus we will be considering who we will play in our next playthrough of the mod. So if you guys have made it to the end of this episode and you have any suggestions for what noble house you would like to see us play in our next playthrough of the Game of Thrones mod, definitely leave your comments down below. I will be taking some suggestions and putting your considerations in mind when I am selecting who we are going to be playing in the next campaign. Until then, however, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.